Very cool. We should be live here. Welcome to Sweetcast, everyone. Just going to make sure it goes through. I think we're live. There we go.
Yeah, it looks live to me. Yep, we're good.
We are live. Okay. Well, welcome everyone to Sweetcast. I have got some special guests today. So we've got Mutt and Macho. And yeah, they're here to tell us a little bit about their creative process and about their comic called HIRO that's on Indiegogo right now. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm doing good too. Thanks for having me, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. So cool. I'm curious, and I know a lot of my viewers are always wondering about how you get together, how a writer and an artist get together, and how that process works. How did you guys meet?
Take it, Mutt.
Okay, yeah, we knew each other from the wives. Our wives were friends. We were running in kind of the same circles. One day we realized that we both were really into comic books, and this sort of like bromance started to blossom between us. And I started to see Macho in a whole new light. And we started trading comics and going to the shop together, and we started going to comic book movies together. And you know, it's a pretty fierce bromance, and I'm jealous. I'm jealous over his affection.
Nice. Very cool. So how did you come up with the idea for your story?
That's you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the idea started out as I like to say a fast food induced nightmare. I think I must have eaten a lot of ice cream or like cheeseburgers or something before I went to bed, and I had this dream about a robot, and specifically it was the robot or the droid from Empire Strikes Back, the Imperial spy droid, and he was holding up this body of this human, and he was like trying to like kind of pass himself off as a human, like by holding this dead body up, and it's this really morbid, strange dream. But that's kind of the bones of the dream, and I started telling Jason about it, and so he. I said, there's something in there, man. There's something that I think we can use. And we started working on it and just getting into the process. We streamlined it and we created this character in this universe out of that really weird fast food induced nightmare.
Those are always the best stories when you hear about, it started in a dream. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Nice. So when you're writing it, did you write full script? Because you guys are working so closely together, so what's kind of the writing process for you?
Well, for me, I probably do it as backwards as you could imagine. So I started out, and I just started did a brain dump on the page and tried to get as much information out about this thing that we were talking about as possible. I wrote out backstories on Dr. Crouppen, who you'll see if you want to download the free Zero issue on our Indiegogo. You'll see about HIRO, about Boone, one of our main characters, about all kinds of stuff. I just started like throwing it down on the page, and then Jason and I looked at that, and we looked at the good stuff and the bad. And I went back and typically now what I like to do is I'll do that and then go back and kind of rewrite a lot of things in a better format, usually in another color so I can differentiate. And then I go back and script it. I actually use the real formula for a real, like how Marvel or DC or Image or anybody's going to require a script. And I'll write out names and dialogue and what the scene looks like, or my at least interpretation for that. And I'll give that to Jason. And then he's able to really, we kind of flip to the Marvel method at that point, and he starts laying down thumbnails. And then from that point, he takes over, and I'm in the backseat until it's time for dialogue. So, but we do a lot of back and forth, and we're we work really, really well together. It's really fortunate that we knew each other outside of this, and then we're able to get together to to put this book together, because it's been a whole lot of fun. It hasn't been difficult at all, really, and I know it can be difficult for a lot of people.
That's
yeah,
great.
you know, like when Dan, when we were starting to sit down and just kind of write everything out, we would do these big chunks of the story, and so we would kind of it wasn't like we were sitting down and doing the full, you know, from you know, the first page down to the 48 pages. What we were doing was coming up with these little mini arcs, and then we kind of put it all on the table, like we would meet in a big room, and we would just basically be throwing stuff up on the wall. We're fortunate because we both work in areas where we can kind of use the facilities, and so we've got some pretty cool facilities to go and just kind of chill in and get creative and use a whiteboard, and you know, like have big tables to lay out a bunch of thumbnails on. And you know, like one thing that we did that I don't think we've ever talked about this, Macho, but we recorded a bunch of stories. So like we would put the phone down and we would just tell the story. You know, like we would just kind of say, okay, this is what happens, and then we would just go. And it was kind of embarrassing at first, but you know, the creative process is like that. And so then it became this really great tool that we used to build this huge universe. Instead of like sort of writing a novel, we just had like, you know, about an hour of storytelling recorded.
Yeah, that's cool. I always love to hear how different creative teams sort of put together the story, because it varies so much. And that's the cool thing about comics, I guess, is that there's, you know, you can really be creative and work something out that works for your creative team. That's cool.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you can do it. And for us, you know, we're not trying to hide the fact that we're new to this. You know, we're first time creators. We believe that we have a good story, and we believe we have, you know, we've written a good story, we have good art, and we have a product, a finished product that people are going to really, really like. But we know that we might be doing it wrong from what a lot of people see, but it's worked really well for us. And I hope that people can see that, like, trying to create something doesn't need to be like this big daunting task. It can just be fun. And I think that's ultimately what we've been able to do, is have a great time doing this and not stress and not worry about the end goal. The end goal is going to come no matter what, and we're going to be able to put out a cool product no matter what. So yeah, it's been great.
Nice. And I was just scrolling through your Indiegogo campaign as you were talking, and yeah, it looks really interesting. The little sort of robot suit that you clamp onto the body. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but
I like how you said it.
Yeah,
it looks cool. And
we can go into that later, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
No, you're good. I was actually just going to point out probably something less important, and that is that you are wearing the Chewbacca onesie that I heard about so much on Twitter.
Got it, everybody. Don't worry. I wish I had a mask, but I don't have the mask. So
is that zipper? How's the zipper work? Does it go all the way down?
It goes neck to balls. And then you got to step out of the legs.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not easy. Like when you have an emergency, you got to work fast.
No, there's no butt flap or anything like that. So I know everybody needs to know all these details, but
this is important stuff, you know, especially if you're in the market for a onesie.
That's right.
I mean, it's if as far as onesies go, this is about as cool as you can get if you're a grown man. So
that's right. That's right.
Nice.
You got to be pretty confident to pull that off.
You know, I'm here for a good time. I'm not here to impress anyone. So
that's obvious.
So I've got a couple comments here in the chat. I just wanted to share. We've got Benny J says your characters have a great look. That sounds like a good compliment.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see. Hi, welcome the Comic Book Hut, or the Hut. Finally, the Hut has come back to Sweetcast. Welcome.
Cool.
Looks like we've got Comic Girl Ava in the chat. And
right on.
Yeah, Ava, what's up? Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And let's see. The R2D2 for life says hashtag butt flat gate.
But Sean, what's up, man? Thanks for
What
coming.
up, Sean? Hey, real quick, before we go too much further, I watched Ethan's show with all of you. Kind of what he was calling you guys, the young guns or the new bloods. I don't know what he was calling you.
All new Comics Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, all new, all different. Yeah, and I was really loving that show. It was great to hear some new voices, and I've been listening to your channel, Clint, and it's great. You definitely have a good voice for content, like we're looking for.
Thank you.
It's got that, it's good criticism, right, and good sort of political banter, but it's coming from I think you deliver in a way that's really sort of like easy to digest, right? It's not harsh, but it's kind of on point, and I really like it. And so I've been listening to a lot of your shows, but I didn't know about the Comic Hut, so I'm going to be checking him out too. That was a cool thing to get to know him, and I'll have to check out Ava too. I think her channel must be pretty cool too.
Yeah, we're all a little bit different. Like I don't do comic critiques or like reviews of comics, and that's just because there's so many people that do it better than I would. But yeah, I try to find my niche and sort of stick in there. So yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad you watch. Yeah, so with crowdfunding, that's always a scary thing. I did a crowdfunding campaign once, and for me it was really stressful. It was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you, was Indiegogo the right place to go? You already knew that was where you're going to go, or what was sort of your thought process in bringing it?
Yeah, we watched a lot of these guys. I mean, we were kind of customers first, and we watched a lot of these, bigger names go through the Indiegogo process, and they really laid the groundwork on how to do that. So, before we launched, we were talking to a lot of creators, people like John Malin. We were listening very closely to the best things to do and the things to avoid. And then even after we launched, we were listening to shows like Fan Speak, where they give a lot of commentary about what they like and don't like about Indiegogo pages. So we've really tried to be as adaptable as possible and flexible as possible during this process. Like Dan's saying, we're newbies at this. This is our first time. And so coming out the gate, we tried to be as smart as we could about it, but we're also understanding that we got to be flexible and willing to change especially if potential customers are saying to us that they would like something to look better or be arranged differently.
Right. So now I got to look back at your campaign here real quick while we're talking about it.
Sure.
So you got 9 days left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the goal setting, can I ask, tell me if I'm out of line. I'm just curious. Do you have a printer lined up? Has that been part of your process already?
Yeah, the printer quoting has been part of the process.
Yeah,
and so we've nailed down the printer from probably 3 prospective printers, and this person this rep that I've been dealing with is in the States, so that's really good, and we're going to be able to get a pretty good price on printing, but we are paying a little bit more to get it printed in the States and get it delivered, in a quicker fashion.
Okay, great. Nice. So for me, that's always something, like a question that comes up is, well, where do I get it printed? Am I getting it printed for a good price? Yeah. Really, I mean, it's one of those things I think you just have to sort of learn as you go. I guess, right?
We've talked about this in other streams, but my day job allows me a lot of access to print processes, and I deal with a lot of printers. So I've got a lot of experience coming in, and I know kind of how to talk to these folks and how to get the best pricing out of them. So that for me wasn't a big, it wasn't too used to this. If I could find the right rep, that I could get the price that I wanted.
Yeah, you cut out there a little bit, I think. So
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You said you were just able to get to a rep or something to find good pricing.
I said that my day job, I'm dealing with print reps a lot, so I wasn't scared of that process, and I knew that if I could find the right rep, and for the right company, that I could get the pricing I want, even if I didn't do overseas, because a lot of these guys are going overseas to get the pricing they want, and we wanted to stay in the States if at all possible.
Great, very cool.
And I think that's something too. Like we're really lucky or fortunate that Jason or Mutt, I guess I've called you Jason enough times on other streams, knows I'm not doxing you too bad. He knows this game better than a lot of people do as far as printing goes. So we're ahead of the game on that. But we're something that I'd like to see, and I think someone else may have even suggested this, so don't take this as my idea, but is somewhere where we can pool information like this for potential creators in the future. Like I really think that this could be a really good way to help people that want to make comics, like, finding somebody to print books and knowing what to ask for when you're printing and all that stuff. Like, Mutt knows how to do it, but there's a lot of people that can do the art or can do the writing, but they have no clue. So it would be a great resource to add to, like maybe Pixel Trader wants to get in on that too, because he seems to be the information broker of Comicsgate or whatever you want to call the movement. So yeah, it would be kind of neat to see that happen, I think.
That's a great idea, because it seems like everyone would have to start from scratch each and every time.
Right.
And almost, I would wonder too, if a certain printer knew that there were going to be a lot of Comicsgate projects going to them, maybe we could get prices down or something. I don't know. Like maybe that's far fetched, but I don't know.
Well, I was listening to some stream and somebody was saying, or maybe is it what Samedi does, where he will say like, hey, I'm printing all this stuff. Like you can buy in maybe at whatever dollar amount, and it just gets his cost lower too. So he just kind of basically takes, 2 or 3 projects at the same time, puts them all together for his print. But I think it's newsprint only maybe. But if there was, if somebody was able to talk to one of these companies, I'll as I'm nudging Jason in the ribs, to talk to one of these companies and be like, hey, maybe if you're able to put together some options, like here's the popular, page count. Here's what popular quality papers that we're looking for, or the cardstock on the front cover and back cover. If you put these lists together and market, I bet you'd have a lot of people throwing money at you to print books, especially if they're in the States and they can get stuff done quicker.
Definitely. Yeah, I think resources like that could be really good. I'm actually looking at the chat here, and I saw, let's see, Benny J says, would be good to have a list of artists to approach. I think that's a great idea, like almost like a DeviantArt page or something that's Comicsgate.
Right.
Mutt. Oh yeah, Mutt, you're in there. I was like, I'm gonna read your comment, but you're good. Okay. Yeah, very cool. So I'm looking at your rewards here. 48-page comic. I like that number of pages because it feels like you're getting something hefty,
especially when I'm drawing it. It definitely feels like a lot of pages. I mean, it's a lot of work, when people say, oh, it's a 48-page comic, that's a pretty good sized comic. I mean, 48 pages is a lot for an artist to put together. It's going to be a lot for a colorist to put together too, and it's going to be kind of expensive when we go to pay for coloring. So 48 pages is a big product, and I hope people realize that.
Oh yeah, 48 pages. So that's your first reward. Then we've got, you can get the virtual high five for $5, which sounds awesome. I love that picture too. For $8, you get the digital edition.
Wait, you don't skip over that virtual high five so quickly. You need to let Dan tell you a little bit about that, and because that virtual high five comes with every tier, so no matter what perk you get the virtual high five. So Dan, why don't you lay out what exactly that is?
All right. So Yeah, thanks for putting me on the spot with that. So virtual high five is basically this. It started out as a joke, but quickly turned into something that we got serious about. And we thought that if anybody is going to donate any amount of money to our campaign, that we want to say thank you in some way, more so than just giving you a book. But we want it to be personal from us. So, or from me, really. Jason doesn't really do anything. But what I'm going to do is for every person that has backed the book, I'm going to tweet out or email or whatever, Instagram, a high five from me. So I'm going to say, hey, Clint, thank you for backing the book. I appreciate it. Here, high five. But every single one of them has to be different. I'm not going to just do that every time. I want to make them custom. So, if somebody is a big fan of my Chewbacca onesie, like somebody's going to get this in one of their high fives. Like that's going to happen. And I'm just trying to be creative on ways to say thank you to our backers. Cause it sounds really cheesy and cliche, but we couldn't do it without the people that are backing our comic and believing in us. So, we got to make it personal. Got to say thanks.
Yeah, and you know what? That is like the essence, I think, of Comicsgate from my perspective is respecting the readers, respecting the fans.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, good on you. That's awesome.
And I'm really hoping I don't get like 500 people at the $8 level.
Don't say that, man. We want to get 500. Absolutely.
You know what? Like I'll suffer through 500 high fives if you guys help me push this book through. I'm gonna have 500 different high fives that are gonna be tweeted out, and I'm gonna make a compilation video of me doing them all. It's gonna be fantastic.
Nice. I really like that. That's a nice touch to make it personal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to go down some of your other rewards here. So we mentioned the $8 digital edition. If you want to go digital, that's a great option. Or you know what, you could do digital and hard copy too, right? Why not? It's signed, right? Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Signed. Yeah. Keep it nice and pristine, and you've got your other copy. So you've got two copies, two signed copies. Let's see.
Save a little money there if you go with two.
Okay. Get one, send two. How does that work? You send two to a friend?
Oh, so that one is I think the get one, send two.
That's supporting the real heroes, which are the the military. Yes. So what happens is you buy one. For this perk, this is for people who just want to, send a couple of cool comics to the men and women who are serving. Yeah. In the military, active duty. And so you get your signed copy, but then you're also sending two signed copies to our brothers and sisters who are protecting us.
Awesome. I love that. Love that reward tier. The next one
our book is really sorry to cut you off. Our book is really patriotic, and it's very pro-America. So that was important for us to have that in there. So
that makes sense. It looks like you've got like army fatigues. I need to read the issue 0 you have, but I can definitely see that. So like looking at these rewards, what went into it? Did you look at other campaigns and get ideas for that? Where did you sort of find ideas for that?
No, we did. I spent a lot of time looking at other campaigns and seeing what they are offering. And it seems like with a lot of the indie campaigns that have been funded and that are popular, people want to feel like part of the story. And like whenever I read a book as a kid, if I was reading X-Men or whatever, like, as a kid, you imagine yourself being the hero, right? Like that's part of why we read comics, because it's escapism, and you want to be that. You want to strive for the greatness that this person in this book is achieving. And so this is kind of a way that you can literally have yourself in this comic. And, in some ways you're striving for the greatness of a hero. And in some ways you might see down below that you're striving to be the most devious villain possible. But yeah, we thought it was important. Like it's important for people to feel special in a comic, and a lot of people put the names of the backers in the back, and that's really cool. And there's nothing off of that, but when I was pitching these ideas to Mutt, I wanted you to get something more like that's. I feel like I was looking at it as if I was paying money for a book and I wanted to be in it, what would I want to get out of it? What would I think was cool? And
right.
So yeah, the other people, Doug Garrett's Lone Wolf. I'll tell you straight up, the idea for my get your name on one of Volk's blades is directly from his like kind of tombstone idea. I thought that was like the greatest idea, have people's names on tombstones. And I was like, well, this is kind of like a tombstone that murdered you, the knife itself. So yeah.
Nice. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a really cool book. I like the art. I like the concept. I just looking at the pictures, I think you guys did a good job with which images you selected to be in the campaign, because the little like robot backpack thingy,
Yep.
I don't know, it's got me like all sorts of wondered. You know, like I'm teased.
Good.
So yeah, I think that's cool. Great. So for anybody out there that is working on writing a comic in any stage of the process, what advice would you give to them? Like, let's say if you're just trying to find an artist, what advice would you give them?
My artist just showed up in my life. So, Jason, as an artist, you might have a better idea of like how to, being approached by somebody, because you've been approached by people before. So
yeah. Well, the first thing you need to know is that you have to value them and value their time. Artists, I see a lot of these guys, they're asked to draw things and they're asked to be creative and they're asked to spend a lot of time, and basically in a lot of situations for no money or, some kind of a, sort of slice of the book profits and stuff like that. So I think if you're a writer, especially if you're a writer for a comic, and hopefully I'm not stepping on anybody's toes with this opinion, but this is the way I think. So
lay it out. Yeah.
I think that you got to come to a comic book artist with the expectation that your story is going to become partly their story.
Yeah.
Because when your words become visual, it's going to be, the artist is going to put a lot of their ideas, a lot of their DNA is going to be in this comic. And so really it's more of a marriage and a partnership in that sense, creatively. So I would say that you kind of start out that way. And the first thing is that you decide on fair compensation. And if it's the best you can do, it's the best you can do. And you just tell the person that you're approaching, like, look, I really like your artwork. This is the idea. I realize that you're going to come in creatively on this thing, and this is what I can offer at this point. And sometimes the idea is so much fun that an artist will jump right on it and they'll do it for a very low price. It all depends on that artist. And sometimes, the artist is going to be very busy, or they might be a little bit more successful, and they have other things that they are choosing between. And you need to throw a little money at them to pique their interest and get their time.
Right.
So I guess all that to say, value the artist's time starting out, and don't treat them like they're getting to get some opportunity, because that's a trick that gets played on a lot of young artists and a lot of freelancers and contractors. It's just this constant barrage of people coming to you and saying, hey, I got this opportunity for you, but I don't have any money, but you can have, you can get your work out there.
Right.
And to a lot of artists, that's the statement that's going to make you stop listening to the pitch.
Right. That is great advice. I think the best working relationships I've had with artists have definitely been when I had money to pay them. So like even getting a part-time job, just setting aside money that's for your artist, that really goes a long way. Artists, they put a lot of work. Writers do too. But artists there's just the time involved that's necessary to make a comic is massive.
Absolutely. It is a humongous undertaking.
Clint, don't make his head any bigger. His head is so big right now. You don't need to make him. You don't need to make it. I'm having a hard enough time dealing with him.
Dan, you have no idea. Dan just sends me all these ideas and says, "Do it." He has no idea. So no, and you know what? Like one thing though, I would say that kind of bypasses some of the stuff that I just said would be that if you can become friends with the artist first.
Sure.
And I know that, you know, in me and Macho's experience, it was kind of a natural progression, but we have a really cool community here. This is I mean, well, there are some people who are a little bit more into the drama than I am, but for the most part, my experience with all comic skaters and, you know, all of the, you know, the fringe folks that are kind of like okay with this, you know.
Yeah.
The whole group has been pretty easy to get along with, pretty fun guys, pretty, you know, cool people, and I've really enjoyed it. And so when you start breaking into that sort of a group, you can start to really build good friendships, and that does spark creativity between people. And when you start just having fun with it, sometimes you can bypass all of that kind of, you know, going into business together talk, and you can just start doing some fun projects together, and it'll just grow into something bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I've had such great experiences with Comic Skate as well. There's like the examples, the negative and the drama stuff, it's out there, but the vast majority like of interactions that I've had with people in Comic Skate have been so positive. I mean, even just today, I can think of six or seven different people I've talked to and had a really positive experience with just on Twitter or otherwise. Yeah, definitely. I think that's good. I just want to look at the comments here. Ash on Comics is here. Hello, Ash. Welcome.
What's up, Ash? I think Sean R2D2 for Life had some comments above, and I was like, we're gonna get to that. But
yes, yeah,
it's been a little bit.
Are we looking at hashtag Lone Wolf?
No, but hashtag Lone Wolf. No, sorry. So I think just above that, crowdfunding. Who would ever say that? Sorry, that was a comment. He said there's something else he said.
He did say any chance you were extending going in.
That's what I was looking
for
at.
9 days. Yeah. Any chance you're going to extend?
Yeah. So we have a plan. We're trying to hit a certain dollar amount to basically extend the campaign because, you know, it's $8,500. So we're at 15 something right now, and we want to be successful. We want to fund this campaign. So another 20 days would definitely help us do that. And we have an incredible backer, a friend, somebody we met through Comicsgate that just put a lot of money down on a really, really cool perk below last night, which got us up, you know, above $1,500. And so, you know, we want to get there. We want to get to this we want to get to this dollar mark so that we can extend this campaign. But if we don't get there, we're gonna just let this one close. And we've learned a lot through this Indiegogo campaign, and we did some things that were probably, you know, not 100% what everybody would suggest, and that's okay. But what we ultimately did was we learned that we got involved in this community that we really, really enjoyed. We learned a whole lot of stuff. We've learned how to set up an Indiegogo page properly. We've had people comment on how like well our page is set up, and I believe that our page is set up very well. Some other people may disagree, but and we've had a great time this whole process. Whether we get funded or not, our goal of having a good time making comics and building a group of people that support us, like we've met those, so I'm going to call it a win no matter what. So if we don't make that goal, if we don't extend, we're going to be back sometime in the spring to relaunch with a whole lot more art and everything else done, and some fresh energy.
Yeah, we started out against the advice of some people, you know, because like they were people were like, yeah, you guys shouldn't be starting now. This time of year, it's a really tough time of year to start. But we were so excited honestly, we were just so excited to do it. We just couldn't wait.
Yeah.
And so we just said, we're going to do it. We've got some artwork done, and we got this ready. I mean, we wanted to just get it out there. And I really still believe we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really kind of like, really dumb in a super positive way.
You're a lovable idiot. You're a lovable idiot.
Lovable idiot, and I will just keep on moving forward until somebody finally says, you know, you got to stop. It's over. So we're going to go all the way down to the wire, you know, pushing as much as we can. But yeah, we have kind of decided that if we don't get to that certain mark, that we'll close it down and we'll come back. But if we get to that mark, we've got a good shot at pulling it off. And I would love to pull it off and be able to just kind of say we did it in spite of the odds. First timers starting out in November, you know, like no audience. I mean, everything's against us. So if we could actually pull it off, it would be the coolest, like, Rocky moment ever.
And you know what? Those are the miracles in Comicsgate. It surprises me sometimes how much money can be raised in a day.
Yeah.
I did see.
Hey, we just got another backer too, by the way.
We did. Yeah, we did. Mike Jenkins, he's in the chat. He said he just backed it. Y'all are some good salesmen. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that. Seriously, we really thank every single person that chooses to put their money behind us. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, and just a reminder to everybody, now's the time. I mean, get on there, check out the perks. There's a whole bunch of great ones to choose from, and back it. I think it's a really fun one. You guys are super fun, so I can just talking to you, I'm like, your comic's gonna be awesome. When
it's gonna be the greatest comic. It's gonna be the best. I mean, there's a few sleepers in the mix in this. Like if you look on Indycron and you kind of go down through the list and you see, like, there's a lot of these that have been funded and for good reason. There's some amazing projects with amazing creators, right?
Oh yeah.
But then there's some of us that are kind of in that middle road and we're really hustling. And some of those books are going to be so freaking cool. I really think HIRO is one of those. But man, there's going to be some amazing Cinderella books that when people finally get them, and they start to trust the creative team behind it, and the next book comes out, there's going to be this, like, I really believe there's going to be this massive glut of talent that we have pulled here in this group of folks.
Talent with good principles. I mean, again, caring about the fans from the get-go and having that be first and foremost. Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about so much about Comicsgate, this community. They've been awesome in that way. That's great. Man, time went fast. We've almost done our 45 minutes. Is there anything else you wanted to put out there or say, anything that you feel like you
can I say real quick, everybody in the chat, if you guys haven't heard of us, or if you have heard of us and you just haven't done it yet, please, on that Indiegogo campaign, there's a button you can click, and it's a free 16-page zero issue. It's the first 16 pages of the book that that I wrote and Jason drew, that we are putting out there for you guys to read. It's basically the primer for the story. So you get the intro to some of the important characters, you get the intro to the science behind it, and you get to see kind of what's going wrong. So then we can kind of see how that will affect the story. And it gets a little bit of the exposition out of the way that you're going to need to understand the story. So we don't have to spend time on that in the book in the future. We can spend time on the action and the laughs and the gory deaths and all that stuff. So yeah, go check that out for us, please. It's free. You don't have to do anything except click it and download it. That's it.
We've got, oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that 16 pages is a free comic book. So that's worth something. It was a lot of work, and we put a lot of time into setting up the story, like Dan says, so we can jump off right into the fun stuff. And I wanted to say that just along the lines of, it's a tough time of year. That 48-page digital copy is $8. You can go to Chick-fil-A and get you a combo, right, for $8. And this, I promise you, this 48-page digital comic will last a lot longer and be a lot more fun for you after it's done. So just consider that. I mean, $8 is not the most expensive thing in the world. I think even during Christmas time, people could spend $8. Get the digital version first, and if you like it, then come back for the next issue.
Yeah.
But that would really help if we can get several people to pick up that $8 digital copy. It's not a lot for them, and it really helps. It goes a long way toward our goal.
Yeah. Last thing too, before I cut you off one more time, we did draw. We have a name right here in my hands that has won a free sketch. Jason's going to do a sketch for him. At every $1,000, we're going to do a sketch for free and give that away. He can tell you what he's drawn on and what he's drawn with. I don't know that stuff. But we're going to do that again as soon as we hit $2,000, and we're not that far away. We have like $425 or something like that, which is not crazy amount of money when you're talking about Indiegogo. So if you guys are able to, anybody's able to back us, your name will be automatically entered in there to win. And we're giving away free art. So that's something else too.
That's pretty great. Yeah, and we have let's see, I'm going to say his name wrong. Septinov.
Yeah.
Septinov. He says issue 0 is cool.
Yeah.
So there's yet some more backup there.
Um,
Septinov's our boy. He's a big cheerleader. I don't want to say it's cheerleader, right? Yeah, cheerleader for our comic book. He's a great guy. Super cool. We talked to him last night, and he's been a huge supporter. So we really he's our boy.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out.
Very cool.
Hey, can I do a little plug for my YouTube channel too? Because I'm trying to build up that audience. I'm really close to 100 subscribers, and basically on my channel, me and Macho just get on there and act a fool and talk about geekery and things we like. And I draw a lot, and we talk a lot about the creative process. So if you guys are interested in the creative process, you can go back and watch a ton of my videos and see kind of how we got started and the mistakes we made along the way. And there's a lot of content there already. So I'm trying to get over 100 subscribers, because on my channel, I'm going to do a live stream giveaway for my 100th subscriber show.
Very
and
cool.
On that live stream giveaway, I'm going to do a piece of art, and I'm going to send it to somebody who's in the live chat. So once we get to 100, I'll schedule that show, and then we'll put that on. So that'll be a fun thing to do.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I'll tell you, the first 100 subscribers is harder than the 1,000 subscribers. Getting from 100 to 1,000 is easier than getting from 0 to 100, in my experience. So
wow, okay, get
past that, it gets better.
That's good to hear. Yeah, because we've been hustling. I've been putting out a lot of content and getting a lot of people to come look at us. So
nice.
I'm at 80. I'm at 88 right now.
If anybody can teach him how to not be such a boomer, that would be awesome, though. Like, because I think that's really like slowing him down a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking for the link in the chat, and I am.
I just put it in there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just put it in there.
All right, thanks, Boomer.
Okay, perfect. I was like, I know I've got it somewhere. I'll pull it up, but okay, cool.
Would you mind putting it in the description too, Clint, if that's okay?
Yeah. So I am a little bit of a